Hell out there in internet land. I can't even say the word hello anymore. Jesus Christ, the English language is just baffling me. There goes the intro anyway. All right, yeah.
Happy Monday.
Hello, everyone who listens to this, who subscribe to the channel.
All 38 of you. Well done.
Well done, well done. This is the P&J Formula One chat. I'm your
This is going to be a good episode.
This is going to be great. I'm your host, Phil Lamington, if I could ever get the words out. And as per usual, I've got my co-host here, JB. JB, how are you?
Grasping the English language better than you.
Oh, that wouldn't be too hard.
My goodness, what a race we had last night.
Yes. So, last night, very early this morning for people in
Us.
Australia.
Us.
Yes. Was the Imola Formula One race of 2021.
We're not going to say the full name?
No, I'm not even going to try. If I can't even spit out hello, how am I going to go spitting that out?
Maybe you'll be better in Italian because your English sucks.
Yeah, you shut up. Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing.
Yes. Boah.
So it was a very interesting race. It was actually a really interesting weekend. I didn't get to see any of the practices, but I did watch qualifying, and it certainly threw up a lot of different things. Like at one point, Latifi actually looked good in qualifying, but Hamilton got pole position in front of Perez and Verstappen.
And Norris. With his deleted lap.
Yeah, he had his deleted lap. Leclerc, as I keep calling him, LeChuck. He eventually got fourth on the grid. So yeah, the qualifying was really good, and then we get to the race. Wow,
Action packed.
started off with rain. That's always a good sign. When it starts off with rain, you know you're in for some action-packed shit. Yes, I said shit.
Action packed shit. Yeah, rain's always a good recipe for bringing out some fun results and some fun racing. And we were treated to a pretty good first, what was it, half the race? It was pretty much wet, wasn't it? Majority of it.
Yeah, well, the red flag came out at lap 34. So we had had at least 20 laps of wet weather racing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it always throws up something new, and it really does show the really good drivers from the okay or my daddy paid for me to be in Formula One drivers.
We got a couple of those.
Yeah, just a couple.
Just a couple.
So at the end of the race, it was Max Verstappen who more or less just walked away with it.
Dominated it.
Once he got in front of Hamilton at the start, he was off to the races.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really impressive drive from him. Like, it was really well controlled. And
down into turn one, as soon as he got his elbows out and didn't give Hamilton any quarter, just showed it like, I'm not giving you shit. You're Sir Lewis Hamilton off the track. You ain't Sir fuck all on it.
And the thing was that I don't think Hamilton is quite used to people sticking their elbows out going, you know what, just because you're Lewis Hamilton does not mean you're getting a free pass.
Well, he hasn't had to worry about it besides from Bottas, but that usually, who's really stuck their elbows out at him lately in the last few, besides Rosberg? No one.
Maybe on occasion Leclerc.
Maybe on occasion Vettel when he was up there too. But, yeah, no, good. That is exactly the way to get in his head, is to show that he's...
That's what we want this season.
Yeah.
We want Hamilton to be competing for the title, not just getting it given to him or gifted to him because he's in a Mercedes.
And you know who else wants that? Lewis.
Yeah.
He said it himself, like, I want a challenge. And how happy and invigorated is he now?
Yeah.
He got properly outdriven, and he loves it. He's relishing it.
And after the race, he was actually very complimentary of Lando Norris.
Yes.
Because him and Norris had a bit of a bit of a battle there for a few laps, which was interesting to watch. But also he did have a good fight with Charles Leclerc towards the end as well. So
He did. And for the first time in a long time, he made a proper mistake. A proper driving error.
yes,
Slipped off the track, almost cost him the race. But somehow, rather impressively, actually, put it in reverse and got it back out of the gravel trap.
I'll get to that in a sec. Because there is a rant involved with that.
Ooh, I can't wait for that.
So then Norris came third.
Driver of the day.
Yeah, he deserved it. If it wasn't him, it was Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, like, should have started P3 anyway. I mean, obviously we're not going to go into the track limit rules, but drove his ass off, made that ballsy move against the pit wall. He took 2 cars down the front straight.
Yeah.
He parked his car in front of Lewis for about 3 or 4 laps, knowing his tyres were gone, knowing he was in the slower car, and still wouldn't cede the position. Like, he has matured very quickly into a very good racing driver.
The thing is, both him, like Norris and Leclerc, both knew in the cornery, the twisty section of the track, they were actually faster than Hamilton.
Yeah.
It was on the straight where Hamilton had the speed.
Well, he had the DRS as well.
Yeah. But when it came to the twisty sections, the other true drivers had him. That Mercedes just wasn't quite there in terms of handling. He had to make everything up on raw speed.
Credit to him, he did.
He did, yes. But it was a valiant effort from Norris and Leclerc.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Carlos Sainz came 5th.
Yeah, considering he spun early in the race.
But he did fight.
He did fight.
Him and Norris, they both fought all the way to where they were. So
Yeah, he was off the track a few times. Martin Brundle commented that he felt Carlos was trying too hard,
yeah,
and in spite of that, still got back up to 5th.
yeah. Daniel Ricciardo, he had a bit of a meh day, really.
Yeah, well, he had to move over and let Lando through earlier in the race. The team orders.
Well, Lando was in the faster car.
And at the time, I thought, yeah, right, this is going to spark something. But within 5 laps, Norris had put 12 seconds on him.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, good strategy call at the end. And Ricciardo admitted that himself. He's like, I'm still getting used to the car. It's like, I'm not being naive about it. I did this at Renault. I know it's a new car, it's a new environment, and it's going to take time. So I let Lando go, and it paid off.
And it also shows that Ricciardo is a team player.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
so
I think if push comes to shove later in the year, and Norris has to be the one to let Ricciardo go, he'll do it.
He'll return the favour.
Absolutely. That is one in the bank.
Then Lance Stroll came 7th in the Aston Martin. I don't know how he managed
no
that.
idea how he got there.
He was nowhere in the race.
Yeah.
Gasly 8th in the AlphaTauri.
After completely making the wrong tyre choice early on in the wets. He was on the full wet tyre and dropped like a rock.
That was an AlphaTauri decision, though, because Yuki Tsunoda was on the same thing.
Mm.
It was a bit silly, but still.
He was the, he got swallowed up very quickly. He was the cork in the bottle for a while until he finally came in and put the inters on.
And then initially listed was Kimi Räikkönen at 9th, but he got a 30-second penalty for overtaking behind the safety car during the restart after the red flag.
That will demote him to 14th?
Yes.
Yeah. 13th.
So Ocon came 9th, and Fernando Alonso came 10th, so he finally got a point.
You want to talk about mad days?
Oh, well, Alonso really wasn't in there for most of it. I think Jesus managed to fluke it.
Keeping in mind that Bottas and, Russell, who was also up there, we'll talk about their crash, I'm sure, but,
Yeah.
There was a lot of, Bottas especially, would have been in that top 10.
Only just in the top 10.
Yeah,
though.
and Perez had a bad day as well. I mean, you take Bottas and Perez out of that top 10, and then lo and behold, your Alpines are in there.
Yeah. Perez Yeah, he had an absolute shocker of a day.
Man, he made Alexander Albon look good, and that's saying something.
Yeah. Some
He-
of it wasn't his fault. Like, I think because he was complaining there was something wrong with the steering wheel. And I think that would have thrown him off a lot.
Yeah.
And then he started driving. He started just like Carlos Sainz. He was trying too hard and just overcooked it.
Yeah, because did he start second?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and he lost a lot of spots early.
Yeah, he dropped down to third by the end. No, fourth
Yeah.
by the first corner.
Yeah, so, the pressure was immediately on him.
Yeah.
He's like, holy shit, I've just lost all these spots.
I've just been overtaken by Ferrari.
Yeah, Christian Horner's going to be so mad at me.
And then he spun a few times.
Yeah, the pressure just got to him. He's trying, I mean, he had Carlos Sainz syndrome. He was trying too hard and found the gravel more often than not.
And then in 12th was Yuki Tsunoda. He had a shocker of a day as well.
Yeah.
He had a shocker of a weekend.
Yeah, well, he had the same problem as Gasly at the start, being on the wets, and then he spun off the safety car restart.
But Tsunoda crashed in practice.
Mm-hmm.
I think he crashed.
Oh, yeah, he had that big crash in practice, yes.
Yeah. And he didn't even go into qualifying. So he started almost dead last.
Yeah.
So, and it just went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Then in 13th was Giovinazzi.
I didn't see him.
Yeah, he
He was very quiet
yeah.
in a very
It was a quiet
place.
day at the office for him.
Yeah.
And then Kimi Raikkonen in 14th. And then Sebastian Vettel in 15th.
Oh,
I'm sure Lawrence Stroll, Larry Stroll, is regretting the money he has spent on Vettel.
not as much as Vettel is regretting moving from Ferrari.
It wasn't his choice, but... yeah.
What a horror day at the office for that man, considering he started in pit lane with a brake-by-wire failure.
Yeah.
His day started in pit lane with a brake-by-wire failure and
And
ended in pit lane with a gearbox failure.
And he got a penalty as well for not having tyres on the car 5 minutes before the race started. So he just... And he kept spinning and...
He is not a happy chappy.
And
If he was
he is not comfortable in that car at all.
if Ferrari was giving him the shits last year, Aston Martin must be double that at the moment.
Yeah. I don't know how he's got any form of smile on his face at all. He's just had two and a half years of just pure, unadulterated misery.
He's just looking at the exit sign, I reckon, and wondering why he didn't.
I don't think he'll... I think
How long's his contract at Aston Martin?
3 years. I think he'll
Do you
pull...
think you'll pull
I think he'll pull the pin at the end of next year.
If they're like this next year, halfway through next year, yeah.
Yeah. He'll
If
go.
they don't show any improvement between now and even the end of this year.
And I think he'll retire. Like, he won't go to another team. He'll retire.
I could see him at the World Endurance Championship.
Oh, yeah, but he'll retire from Formula 1.
Yeah, he won't be in Formula 1, but I could see him racing, endurance racing.
It's either that or he would go to IndyCar.
I don't think he'd go to IndyCar. He doesn't strike me as the guy that has aspirations of going to IndyCar. He strikes me as a guy that'll go to Mercedes or some German team for or Porsche
British touring car.
supercars.
Yeah, come on out here. 16th was Mick Schumacher in the Haas, who managed to break his own front wing off
He
right outside
managed-
the pit
He
lane.
managed to do the pirouette while trying to warm his tyres up in the wet. Yeah, not a good day for him.
And then 17th was Mazepin.
Yes, but the one thing he was involved in wasn't his fault for once.
Yeah, true.
It wasn't his fault for once, finally.
But I think he's set a Guinness World Record for spinning in every session going.
He's making Maldonado look like Senna at the moment.
Bruno Senna.
Yeah, let's not get up there.
He's looking like De Cesaris.
He's looking like
De Crasharis.
De Crashers, the descendant. Yeah, that's But then again, that Haas is a dog box. An unstable dog box, like we saw in Bahrain.
Yeah. But they I think it was during qualifying, Crofty asked Martin Brundle, yeah. Asked him, like, why didn't Haas spend the money on upgrading the car and spend the tokens?
Because they've still got their tokens, don't they?
Yeah. Well, Gunther Steiner said that he had spoken to Gene Haas, and they more or less said they could spend 10 million developing this year's car, or they could spend that 10 million euro, dollar, whatever it was, on developing next year's car and make it a better car. And because they know they're going to finish last, they're going to have that additional wind tunnel time and everything, so that they can make next year's car so much more than what it could have been if they spent the money on this year's car.
Yeah, sneaky sandbagging. You want to talk about a guy who doesn't have a smile on his face? How does Gunther Steiner still have a smile on his face? That poor guy. He's such a good character.
Oh,
He's hilarious.
he's a fucking rock star.
He's a fucking rock star. He looked like a bunch of fucking fankers. Yeah, well... And Gene Haas
at the start, we looked like fucking rock stars. Now we look like a bunch of fucking fankers.
That's it. And Gene Haas has been all over him.
Apologies for my crappy Gunther Steiner impression there.
Yeah. Gene Haas been over him for 2 or 3 years. Gene Haas actually said he's not spending any more of his own money on the team, which is why
Mazepin's dad is involved.
Uralkali sponsorship is there.
William Story.
It's not William Story. This is actually legitimate Russian money.
Is there such a thing as legitimate Russian money?
I don't know.
It's money stolen from the KGB.
It must be. I mean, look how well it's going for them. 16th and 17th.
It's Anya Masova's paycheck.
That's it.
You have no idea who that is, do you?
Is it a Bond reference?
Yeah, it was Agent Triple X from The Spy Who Loved Me.
Gotcha.
And then we had, in the DNFs, we had Valtteri Bottas, George Russell, and Nicholas Latifi. So both the Williams managed to crash out. Nicholas Latifi, he spun out on lap 1 because he spun out on Aqua Marina? Was that the name of the corner?
Aqua Minerale.
Aqua Minerale.
Does that translate to mineral water? I think it does. Is there a spring down there? Because aqua is water and minerale, I think, is mineral. Mineral water.
It's not the corner that Senna was at.
No. That's Tamburello. That's where Bottas and Russell got together.
But Latifi spun at Aqua Minerale and then came onto the track and just decided to drive into Mazepin and got sent to the Shadow Realm.
Well, I know the wing mirrors are small on Formula One cars, but you can still use them.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still turn your head slightly to the right and possibly maybe see the white Haas there. I mean, it's not a dark coloured car, is it? It's pure white.
It might have been the spray coming off his car obscured him.
He was doing like 20 k's an hour.
Yeah, he was doing a little bit faster than that.
It doesn't matter.
25.
Yeah. It's a Williams. He wasn't
he had
doing
the L plates on.
Yeah. Well,
that was really a rookie mistake on behalf of Latifi. I think if he did see him, he was hoping that he could squeeze him and Mazepin would back off. And because Mazepin is Russian and dumb, he just went, no, fuck this bullshit. And just play it on.
That sounded like Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah, I know.
That was terrible. You got to stop doing accents now.
Oh,
You're banned.
Oh, shut up.
You're banned.
Don't tell me what to do. I know how to drive the car. Don't tell me how to drive the car.
I love the way you didn't use the accent then. Latifi's been in the sport for long enough to that not be a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
He's not a rookie.
Yeah, but he's not a great driver though, is he?
Yeah, no, it was just a dumb move.
And then we get to Bottas and Russell.
Oh, wow.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Because, like, we've just covered lap 1.
Well,
so,
yeah.
And we've covered lap 4, because I've got my notes here. I've covered lap 4 of Schumacher deciding to put it into the wall all by himself.
All on his lonesome. See, that's a rookie mistake. Although, then again, someone that talented should know not to leave the car in the wet.
And when you've got a car that the back end of it just decides to do whatever it wants.
It's spun in the dry. It's going to spin in the wet. Like, it's super unstable.
And then they had the safety car out, and Perez got a penalty for overtaking under the safety car.
Because he too spun.
He spun, and then all the other cars stopped to let him back in.
That's rough. Like, do the drivers know that that's the rule?
I'm guessing so, but I think they were just gentleman's agreement, being polite. Like, that is the spot. We're under the safety car. You can take your spot back.
So if the drivers were okay with it, why was the FIA not okay with it?
Well, because Michael Massey is a flippin'
Careful.
retard.
Careful.
He's a flaming galah.
He is a flaming glass. Yeah, like if the drivers see you go off and they pull over to the side and let you back in, what's the problem?
Well, clearly he's overtaking them under a safety car.
Yeah, but no one complained.
Yeah, that's right. Except Michael Massey.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well, rules are rules. I mean, he was consistent.
that's true. So then we skip forward to lap 31. Now, lap 31, this was where all the stuff happened. So, Lewis Hamilton showed he is in fact human,
Yes.
and I think he was trying to overtake Stroll, I think it was.
Yeah, it was one of the Astons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't Vettel, because Vettel was in no man's land.
No,
So
I think
had
it
to
was
be
Stroll. Yeah.
He went to overtake Stroll, and he was on slicks, but he was on the wet part of the track. Because the track hadn't dried up yet, because Stroll had planted it on the racing line. And he just aquaplaned off and just gave the wall a little bit of a nip on the lips.
He actually stopped it, but because he was stuck in the gravel trap, he went forward and then hit the wall.
Yeah.
He actually initially missed the wall and then drove into the wall, trying to get out of the gravel trap.
But he did dig it out, but he again, like he did on the first lap, because he broke his front wing on the first lap. But he hung on to it until he pitted and put the
I don't actually think they ever fixed that wing. Like, they never replaced the wing. It was just a damaged end plate. Then he properly broke it when he hit the wall.
When he hit the wall on lap 31.
Yeah.
So then Hamo hits the wall, reverses back onto the track with his broken front wing, and off he goes. In the meantime, George Russell tries to overtake Valtteri Bottas. I never thought the words, a Williams trying to overtake a Mercedes.
Clean, too. Like, proper pace.
And Bottas, to how I saw the footage, Bottas tried to squeeze Russell, but he still tried to give him a car's width. But Russell panicked a little bit, touched the grass, bottled it, put it into Bottas, and into the wall they went.
Both walls.
So they were both sent to the Shadow Realm.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a 50-50.
Yeah. Bottas pushed him wide, but Russell could have lifted too.
Yeah. But George Russell very angrily gets out of his car, goes over to Valtteri Bottas to ask him if he's okay. Bottas flips him off, and so Russell decides to give him a pat on the head.
A very not friendly pat.
Bottas told him he thought he was the number one driver.
Bottas was showing him how many points he didn't score.
And he congratulated him by patting him on the head rather fiercely.
Rather upset.
Which then brought out the red flag because of all the carnage that happened.
Just in time for Lewis Hamilton to dive back into the pits and under red flag conditions get his front wing changed.
Which is what I'm about to have a rant about. This rule pisses me off.
Doesn't exist in any other form of motorsport that I can think of. Formula One is the only motorsport I know that you can touch the car under red flag conditions.
Which I think is stupid.
It's bullshit. You can't do it in supercars. You can't do it in NASCAR, to my knowledge.
Can't do it in IndyCar.
You
Do they
can't-
have red flags in IndyCar, or they just send the pace car out 500 times?
Usually when someone dies.
True.
Yeah, no. Formula One, to my knowledge, is the only motorsport I know where you can touch the car under red flag
I don't think
conditions.
that's right. I think if it's a red flag, it should be parc fermé conditions.
It's a suspended race, not a restarted race. It's not a new race, it's the same race.
Yeah.
Why can you touch your car?
So, all the drivers that were still out on the intermediates got to change their tyres to the slicks.
Yep.
Hamilton got a new front wing
And new tyres.
and new tires,
Mhm.
and all the cars that were lapped got unlapped,
Yeah.
which is how Hamilton got back into
Nice.
contention.
Hamilton was ninth, but he was a lap down.
Yeah,
And then the red flag happens, and suddenly he's. But to be fair, had it just gone under safety car, he still would have had the chance to unlap himself too. He just wouldn't have been right at the back of the field. He would have still been like catching the
Yeah.
field.
my point is, it's a red flag. They shouldn't be touching the car. It should be you park it in the pits.
Yep.
You know, if you want to send them out for another lap around and they rejoin in their correct order, fine. But none of this changing the front wing and changing the tyres and, you know,
Yeah, you should not be allowed to touch the car under red flag conditions.
No.
It's a dumb rule.
that is a dumb rule.
Yeah, I can't think of any other motorsport where you can do that.
And, you know, that is the sole reason how Hamilton actually got to be second on in the end.
Yep.
Because red flag conditions, and they said, go ahead, change your front wing and your tyres and unlap yourself.
To be fair, everyone else got to do that too. I mean, the McLarens whacked on sets of softs. Everyone else sat on whacked on a set of mediums.
Yeah, yeah. It should be a blanket thing though. No one changes their tyres. No front wings.
Has that always been a rule?
No.
When did that? We're gonna have to research on that.
Yeah, I'll have to do some research on that one. But yeah, that's I don't think that's right.
Well, that same rule actually cost Carlos Sainz the win in Monza last year, because Gasly, under the red flag, was able to put the new tyres on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's not a new race. It's a stopped race. It's a red flag. You go in a pit lane because you can't drive on the track because there's shit all over it.
Yeah.
It's not a new race. It's not a.
It's a suspended race.
Yeah, you stop because you're not. We don't want you on the track for a minute while we get fucking.
It's kind of like a virtual safety car. I do not understand the virtual safety car. Like, you have to slow down to a delta time. Why don't they just override it and say, everyone's got to slow down and just do the pit limiter speed around the
I
track?
feel like virtual safety car should be. Virtual safety car comes out, so you have to slow down to the lead up of the actual safety car coming out. Like, okay, there's been a crash, everyone dropped down 40%, and then when the leader comes around, the real safety car comes out. It's to neutralize the race. Like, they brought that rule in after Bianchi
Yeah.
died in Suzuka because everyone was still doing race speed under yellow flags.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
yeah.
no, he died while the safety car was out.
Was it?
Yeah, the safety
Yeah.
car was out.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that rule's implemented. I don't. What's the difference between a virtual safety car and a?
There's no
An
actual
actual-
safety car on the track. They're supposed to do a delta time or something.
40% slower than race pace. Yeah.
It should just be everyone drops down to
Put your pit limiter on.
pit limiter speed.
Yep. 280.
Yeah.
I mean, but everyone will complain it's slow.
Yeah, it's slow, but then you've got less of a chance of spinning and putting your front end of the car into the wall and breaking your front wing like Schumacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a blanket thing. Everyone has to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand. And what's worse is, like, you and I, we play, and our third wheel,
Third wheel.
Barry
Shout out, buddy.
Enchilada.
Mm-hmm.
We play the F1 game, and it's so weird when you get the virtual safety car. Like it says, hit the delta time, but it never stays at the same level. Never like it's you're at the game's mercy about the virtual safety car.
You can sort of pick it. If you're coming into a slow corner, you've got to like slow.
Yeah,
There's microsectors in real life where they time it. It's not a perfect science, but you sort of know the number you have to hit.
and that's why just going down to the pit limiter should be the way it is all the way across.
Or just a straight safety car.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Or just get your local Domino's pizza delivery boy on his scooter, and he can be the safety car.
Which would have been perfectly acceptable at an Italian track.
Or a Mr. Whippy van.
Mr. Whippy. No, yeah, I agree. I don't think, red flags, touching your car on a red flag should be completely banned. Yeah, park photo rules for sure.
And Yuki Tsunoda also got he got a 5-second penalty towards the end of the race too.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, because he... I'm amazed Jeff from the game didn't message him saying...
I do remember.
Yes, he exceeded track limits a few too many times and got a 5-second penalty for it.
Mm.
Well, I never thought I'd see that in real life during a race. The only thing missing was Jeff.
It's been a long time since I've seen someone actually get penalised in a race for proper track limits cutting. They told him. They told
Yeah.
him like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Don't know what he was in a hurry about. He's down in 13th.
Well, it's Yuki Tsunoda. He's a very proud man.
Yeah.
He's very committed.
Mm.
I don't think he was ever as bad as the first time IndyCar went to Circuit of the Americas, though.
Oh, yeah, that second last corner where they were out on the infield.
God, if they're any further out, they'd be able to go to their local supermarket.
They were
and
pretty
pick up
much
their
they
shopping.
were pretty much in the car park.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Jeff would have had a field day.
Mm.
But yeah, so yeah, that's my thoughts on the red flag.
I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah. Then we fast forward to the last 10 laps
Yeah.
where Hamilton is he was behind Leclerc, who was in, but after the restart, Leclerc was in second behind Verstappen. And then Norris overtook him as soon as the race got back on.
Yeah, Norris caught him napping.
Yeah. And also, the Ferrari power unit is still not the strongest thing in a straight line.
No,
Let's
it's not.
call a spade there. It's faster than the Renault, but it's not Mercedes power. So Norris gets in front of Leclerc. And we thought Ricciardo was challenging Sainz, but that sort of dropped off. rather
Yeah, he's
quickly.
still not used to that car yet.
Yeah. And then Hamilton was making his big charge through the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually he caught up to Leclerc. Leclerc tried holding him off for a few laps, thanks to the DRS from trying to stay up with Norris. But
Yeah.
eventually Norris ditched Leclerc.
Yeah, you say that the Ferrari is not the greatest in a straight line. It took until Leclerc didn't have DRS and Hamilton did for Hamilton to get past him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, DRS for DRS, they were...
Well,
Hamilton wasn't catching Leclerc.
he was catching him in the DRS zone. Even when Leclerc had DRS, he was still gaining on him. But when it came to the twisty section of the track,
Yeah,
Leclerc was ditching Hamilton
yeah.
because that Mercedes, because of its low rate concept, is not handling as well as the high rate concept cars.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not the race or any technically proficient person here. I just, I've watched enough to hear about high rake and low rake and go, I know what's what.
I've had enough of Lawrence Stroll bitching and Toto Wolff bitching that the rules are against them because we had low rate cars and the rules were designed for high rate cars. And we're at the disadvantage.
Well, build another fucking car.
That's what next year's about, friend. Build a brand new car from the ground up with high rake or low rake and figure out which one works better.
That's what testing's for.
That's it.
Pre-season testing. Test your car.
Yeah, they did. They spun a lot.
A lot. But then we get to lap number 60, and Hamilton, after, I think, 4 or 5 laps
Yeah.
of trying to pass Lando Norris, he eventually gets past him. But Norris really was putting up a good
I was
fight.
so impressed with this race.
Yeah, he put that car smack dab in the middle.
Right where it needed to be. Right where it needed to be. Right in the middle of the racetrack coming into turn 2. And yeah, no, it was a really good show of driving. Like I said earlier, he knew his tyres were going off. He knew Lewis was coming at him. He knew Lewis was faster, but he still, with everything he had, and finished 1.7 seconds behind him.
Yeah.
Like, you would a second behind the 7-time champion. Like, how's that for your confidence? I mean, obviously, this is after he'd spun and after he'd had to come all the way back from 9th up at the field, but you took it to the champ, you held him off for 4 or 5 laps, and you're only a second off him at the end.
And you got the praise from Hamilton at the end of the race.
You got his respect.
Yeah.
You earned his respect, and that's massive.
Well, here we go. This brings me to a point as I readjust myself in the creaky chair. Everyone keeps saying Russell is going to be a fit for Mercedes next year. I think yesterday proved that Bottas's days at Mercedes are done at the end of this year. What's to say that Mercedes doesn't try something different and try and get Norris in that car?
Because I don't want Norris to leave McLaren.
I granted.
And Zach Brown doesn't want Lando to leave McLaren, and the whole of McLaren doesn't want Lando to leave McLaren. No, I think it's set. I think it's Russell.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, after yesterday, they're both going to have smacked bottoms, but...
Yeah. Toto is not.
Yeah, Toto's not a happy boy with either of them at the moment. But look, I mean, the notion of Norris going to Mercedes is, I guess, not out of the question. Hypothetically, I don't think it'll happen.
It certainly raises some eyebrows, though.
Oh, he's certainly showing his talent.
When you've got Russell, who is supposed to be the heir apparent to that Mercedes seat. He will be in a Mercedes next year.
Oh, he will, but he's in the Mercedes system. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, here's another one. Say Perez doesn't work out at Red Bull, and so far it's not great. Do you throw a contract at Lando Norris? Does Christian Horner throw a contract at Lando Norris?
If Perez doesn't work out, Yuki Tsunoda's going to get that Red Bull seat.
Yuki Tsunoda's got to drive a bit better than he has, but yeah. You don't want to give him the Kvyat option and put him in too early.
Yeah, but that seems to be Helmut Marko's way. Put them in too early.
Throw them in the deep end and watch them sink or swim.
Yeah.
And the only one lately that swum is Verstappen.
Yeah.
Everyone else is sinking. For Sergio's sake, he finds his feet quickly. He's got the talent too. He just had a bad day.
Yeah.
At the office.
I think just the car let him down at the start. And then he overdrove it because he was trying to compensate for the car letting him down. And it was quicksand. It was one thing after another, after another, after another.
Yeah. Well, that car is set up and designed basically for Verstappen's driving style.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily Perez's driving style, which is the same at McLaren. Ricciardo admitted as well. The car is set up more towards Lando's style, and Ricciardo's trying to adapt to that style.
Yeah.
And Lando said today that he had to learn, the biggest thing he learned was to not drive this year's car the way last year's car was being driven. He said, this year's car does not behave the same way as last year's car, and that's the biggest adaptation I have to make. And now that he's figured that out, fourth last race, third this race, he's third in the drivers' championship.
Oh, I think you could say the same thing about Carlos Sainz as well. Like that car has been set up and built for Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, but he's adapted quickly. Like, for the day he had, he still finished fifth.
And I did see the interview with Martin Brundle and Carlos Sainz before the race, right before I went to Macca's. And he got asked, how you're adapting to the team and that. And he said, well, this is my fourth team in, 6 years or 5 years or something. He went from Toro Rosso to Renault.
Yep.
Then to McLaren, and now he's in Ferrari. So he's used to chopping and changing. I would have thought Ricciardo would be used to it. I mean...
He is. He came out and said he was naive to not think that...
Yeah.
But it doesn't. But same problem. It does nothing for your consistency.
No, that's right.
Like, what do? You just come to grips with a car after 2 or 3 seasons, and then you go drive a new car.
Whereas it's very different for Sergio Perez, because Perez has been driving the same car for, 5 years?
I think it was like
6
7,
years.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's now driving a Red Bull, which the handling characteristics are going to be far different from, the 2019 Mercedes. Whoops, did I say that out loud?
You're not the only one. Yeah, but, I mean, fundamentally, it's also a better car than the one he was driving.
Oh, yeah.
But he just can't get the performance out of it yet because, yeah.
I mean, it's a fundamentally better handling car than, the tracing point that he drove last year. And also, you also got to factor in the Honda power unit is going to react differently to the Mercedes power unit too. So there's a lot of factors in there that are affecting Perez and his driving. And he said it's going to take him 4 or 5 races before he was truly comfortable in that car, and then he'll be able to provide the results for Red Bull that he promised.
How good is the racing going to be in round, 8 or wherever, when Sainz has come to grips with the Ferrari, Ricciardo's come to grips with the McLaren, and Perez has come to grips with the Red Bull?
The funny thing is, I think Carlos Sainz has come to grips with the Ferrari, or he's the closest to coming to grips with his new car.
Yep.
But what is the next race?
I'm Googling that now, actually.
Awkward silence.
It is Portimao.
Portimao.
Mm-hmm. Portugal.
Okay, and that track is very similar to Catalunya, isn't it?
Mm.
To is it Catalunya they race in Spain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is after Portimao. So there you go.
Oh, you got 2 tracks that are basically the same track.
Portimao's a little bit better because it's got hills and MotoGP actually raced there this weekend. It was good.
Oh, okay.
Very good condition. Yeah.
I think that track is going to favour. It's going to favour Red Bull, and it's going to favour in the fight for 3rd and 4th. It's going to favour McLaren over the Ferrari.
Remember, Carlos Sainz led this race last year.
Yeah.
And Mercedes, they don't have dust anymore, but I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to be raining like it was either.
And it looks like, Canada might be getting dropped from the calendar.
Yes, unfortunately. Does that mean we're reverting to a 22 race season?
No.
What are they replacing Canada with?
Turkey.
Ooh, yes, Istanbul Park. I love that track.
Particularly when it's wet.
Codemasters, I'm looking at you. Or EA. Is it EA now doing the new game?
No, it's Codemasters.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm looking at you.
That trailer really didn't show anything, did it? For the new game.
It's only a launch trailer.
Like it's showing a rivalry mode.
Yeah, Devin Butler's back. Glory, glory. Who? Yeah, exactly. Yes. Well, the race doesn't start till midnight. That's going to be fun. In Portimao.
When is that?
The 3rd of May.
Oh, it's 2 weeks, isn't it?
Mm.
Wouldn't it be nice if it was this
Actually,
weekend?
the 3rd of May. Is that Queensland Labour Day?
It is.
Problem solved.
There we go.
Yeah, good. Will be a late night. Yeah, Portimao, very twisty. It's a motorbike circuit, it's not a Formula 1 circuit.
You should come over here to watch the race. As soon as the race is over, we could do this. We could do a
Yeah.
podcast at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
That sounds great.
That sounds lovely.
It doesn't.
We'll,
How much coffee do you have?
yeah, I've got a lot.
Good. You'll need it.
Yeah, but we normally have a cup of tea before we start these things. Because despite the fact we're Australian, we're very British.
Oh, yes, we're British heritage, aren't we?
Yes. That's why
yeah.
we like Formula 1, not IndyCar.
Portimao. I don't mind IndyCar now that Scotty McLaughlin's there.
Anyway.
Portimao, very twisty.
Clobber the microphone.
Professionals. I
Yeah,
told you
Joe Rogan hasn't got shit on us.
We're coming for you, mate. We want our $100 million Spotify deal with our 38 listeners.
I've just got to say the F word like a whole bunch more and dump crap on Vince Russo. We'll
Have
sound
you?
like Jim Cornette.
Have you tried LSD? Portimao, very twisty. Pretty sure Lewis got the job done here last year, didn't he?
Portimao, yeah.
Yes, Lewis Hamilton holds the lap record of a 118.7.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tight, twisty, Red Bull, definitely. Lewis will probably give it a good shake. Lando could probably give it a good shake too if he gets to grips with it.
I am looking forward to seeing Verstappen and Hamilton, like Verstappen getting his elbows out more with Hamilton and showing him no quarter.
Yeah, the fact that this race, Verstappen put his elbows out at the start, Lando and Charles Leclerc put their elbows out, Hamilton's not getting it easy this year from anyone, and rightly so.
And he's enjoying it.
He's loving it. No one's loving this more than Lewis.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even for us, even as the viewers.
This is what we've wanted for 6 years.
I mean, the closest we came to this was possibly
Rosberg.
Rosberg.
And Vettel. Oh, yeah, Rosberg over the course of a full season, yes. Vettel for 3/4 of a season.
Yeah, until he bottled it.
In Hockenheim, yes. Yeah, this is what we've wanted for a long time.
This is what the fans of Formula 1 have wanted. I mean, there was plenty of overtaking in this race.
Yep. I do feel that DRS zone down the front straight was a little bit overpowered.
Yeah, like they extended it from last year.
Yeah, they extended it by 100 metres.
Last year, it felt ineffective. This year, it felt too effective.
Yes.
So maybe they should trim it back 50 metres.
Side note, how good was the racing in the wet when there was no DRS?
Yes, it was
like
good.
It was like old school.
Yeah.
It was like pre-2010 when DRS, or pre-2011 whenever DRS came in.
It actually felt like the 1990s.
Yeah, it was like a bit of retro racing and people had to work for their overtakes.
Oh, that's something I forgot to mention in our Bahrain race chat. So when they did the Bahrain race, did you see what was written on the top of the halo on the Williams cars?
I remember something being written. Yeah, I remember something being written. I can't remember what it was.
And you could see it with the camera, like on top of the car.
Yeah, I'm sure I read it and noted it, but I could not remember what it is now.
I have to stop talking because I've got a lump in my throat.
Oh yes, Murray.
R.I.P. Murray.
That was brilliant.
That was touching.
Yes, and then a track. Yeah, well, a track evokes memories like Imola.
That's right. Well, I think when we were watching the race, and we were messaging each other, and then Bottas and Russell crashed
at Tamburello,
and I think I messaged you saying that's the same corner that Ayrton Senna
was killed at.
Yeah.
Yep. And Ted Kravitz in pit lane was actually shaken up about it.
Yeah.
He was actually a little bit distraught. He's like, I just watched that crash happen at 300 kilometers an hour in the same place. One of the greatest racers of all time was killed.
Yeah.
He was actually pretty rattled.
Yeah, it struck me a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like I think before the race, because I'm not fully, because I haven't played this track in the game. I don't think any of us have played it in the game.
Not in the current iteration, no.
So the track layout is still a little bit foreign to me.
It's different to that. The chicane,
Yeah,
the
because
Tamburello chicane used to be a sweeper.
yeah.
And there used to be no sand, obviously. It was just concrete and then more concrete.
So I actually went and found the lap when Senna went off into the wall.
Mm.
And like they showed on this
I've seen that
video,
a few times.
on this video they actually showed it from, they didn't show it from Senna's perspective. They showed it from Michael Schumacher's perspective, who was right behind him, I think. And Damon Hill's perspective, who was behind him again. And watching it, like seeing the big sweeper, and it gives you the knowledge of knowing where that chicane is now, the Tamburello chicane is. But just seeing it as a big sweeper is a bit foreign to me.
Yeah.
But it's still startling footage watching Senna just go straight into that wall. Like
It's not nice to watch,
no.
no.
It's, you know...
Not just because he was my favourite driver of all time, but it's just not nice to watch.
Yeah, I mean, like, Senna wasn't my favourite driver, but I still respect him enough to sit there and go that the things I respect about Senna are, like, the lap of Monaco, one-handed.
Yeah.
You know, when his mate crashed out, I can't remember the race, so I apologise for getting facts wrong here.
I don't even think it was his mate, but yeah, he crashed and pulled over and jumped out and
Yeah,
like pulled him out of the car.
yeah, because the throttle was stuck on.
Mm.
And oddly enough, when Senna crashed into the wall, that guy was the first guy to pull up and try and help Senna.
Yeah.
But he was a bit too late.
Yeah, we're all a little bit too late. And you know what? In flashing back to that crash now, the way George Russell's tyre initially went into Bottas's car without the halo there was the same way Ayrton's tyre went into Ayrton's head.
Yeah.
And you know, in part, actually, as a direct result of that crash in '94, was the radical overhaul of safety in Formula One.
That it
started
needed.
started by Sid Watkins
Yeah.
and Jackie Stewart, and
Well, if you really want to go back, the safety overhaul of Formula One, like, that was the culmination of a safety overhaul.
yeah,
But it really started with Niki Lauda way back in the day.
yeah. Well, I mean, it was improving constantly,
Yeah.
but it took until Ayrton's death. It's like, holy shit, we actually lost one of the best drivers ever.
And then it didn't happen again until Jules Bianchi.
Yeah, you know, it took that long. And then Jules Bianchi's death was as a direct result of that, as why we've got the halo system.
And so many people complain, oh, the halo system's stupid, rah, rah, rah.
No,
Go and tell that to Charles Leclerc,
Mm-hmm.
and because he was in that accident at Spa where the wheel hit the halo.
Yeah.
If it didn't hit the halo, it would have hit him in the head and he would have been killed.
Yeah, he like ripped the paint off his halo, but the halo stayed intact.
And there was also the other crash the previous year at Spa where Grosjean took out, I think, Hamilton and Alonso in the same corner, the first corner. I think the wheel grazed Alonso's head in the Ferrari.
Yeah.
That would have been scary as all shit.
Yeah, no, the halo argument died last year when Roman went through the barrier at Bahrain.
Yeah.
That legitimately saved his life.
Yeah, he would have been decapitated.
He would have had his head cut off.
Yeah.
Like, that was the death of the halo. Like, it stays forever now.
The sad thing about it is if you look at what IndyCar's got, because IndyCar's got the other version that Red Bull developed.
They've got the halo, but they've got the perspex glass.
I think that would cause more harm than good.
I'm yet to see it in action, to be honest. I don't
Yeah.
watch enough IndyCar.
And Grosjean had his first race this morning
Yeah,
too. I didn't
finished-
see any results of it.
Finished P7 apparently.
Oh,
Not sure how
okay.
Scotty went, but yeah. But all this, this safety, the development of safety started at this track because of that crash in '94.
Yeah.
The real upping of safety
Yeah,
to
things
what
like
we have now. And now, I'm not going to do the maths now,
26.
years later, this two cars at 330 kilometers an hour go into that same corner
Yeah.
and they both get out and they both
One's,
fisticuffs each other and then walk away.
one's able to tell the
Yeah.
other one he's number one.
Yeah.
The other one's capable
You
of
know-
giving him a pat on the head.
26 years ago, arguably one of the best of all time, went into that same wall and
Yeah.
died. 26 years later, two guys went to the wall, probably even faster than Ayrton did,
Yeah.
and fucking got out, told each other to fuck off, and walked away.
Pretty much.
And that's the evolution of safety.
Yeah. But going back to my thing, like Senna with Monaco driving one-handed, saving his mate who
Mhm.
crashed and stuck the throttle on, winning in Brazil and just hearing him over the radio.
That car was stuck in sixth gear the whole race.
Yeah,
He was so exhausted he couldn't even lift the trophy up at the end.
yeah. And I can't remember the last moment I was thinking of, but
What? Him crashing into Prost or Prost crashing into him?
no.
He had enough good moments. I mean,
Didn't he hit Eddie Irvine? Like punch Eddie Irvine in one race because Eddie Irvine was a back marker and tried unlapping himself? It was
possibly. I don't think I've
yeah.
ever seen Ayrton lash out. But
and
he
that was
probably-
when Eddie Irvine was in Jordan.
No, he was very passionate. He was
Oh,
a
yeah.
very passionate racer. Obviously Brazilian. Like Brazilian blood.
Yeah,
Super passionate people. But no, I just thought it was eerie
yeah.
and surreal, but also a testament
To
that-
how far Formula One
that
safety has come.
crash happened at that same corner with a completely different result.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So, the next race is in 2 weeks at Portimao.
Mm-hmm. Prediction time.
Um,
More of the same.
yeah, I think there's going to be more of the same.
I think Verstappen from Hamilton for Norris. You know what? I reckon that podium could happen again.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't complain if it was like, I mean, obviously I'm a Ferrari person.
Yeah.
I got my new Ferrari shirt today.
Good man.
I wouldn't complain if it was Norris in front of Leclerc, or I wouldn't complain if it was Leclerc in front of Norris.
Exactly. Like
I don't think you'd be
no.
the same way. You know, you'd agree with me on that.
It's a rivalry, but it's also they've earned it.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean-
Two legacy teams.
I mean, Ferrari's come from the shithouse 2019 and 2020.
But I mean, McLaren's come from the shithouse as well.
Yeah.
Like the Honda McLaren experiment from 2015 and having Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, they've both built themselves back up to be contenders again.
That's right.
You know, so you can't take anything away from all four of those guys, even
Yeah.
Sainz and Ricciardo.
And like you've got Red Bull versus Mercedes. That's building up to be a really great fight between Verstappen and Hamilton.
Yeah, I think Verstappen wins Portimao. I think the
Well, here's a question for you
Mhm.
to close out today's chat. At this stage, who do you think is going to finish this year as world champion?
I think Max has finally got it.
Yeah.
I think Max is yeah. I thought the Red Bull was in trouble, and every time I thought, you got to remember, man, he didn't win Bahrain because of a technicality.
Yeah.
And he dominated Imola, and Lewis, for the first time in a long time, made a proper mistake.
Yeah.
and Max got his elbows out. Max is ready for this. Max is ready.
Yeah.
The only thing that's going to hold him back is reliability. Because what we saw on Perez's car, I think Max had a problem earlier in the race too. Didn't he say something was not great with his car as well at the start?
Yeah, his steering wheel was going as well.
Yeah, so I think there's electrical gremlins in this Red Bull, which is concerning and will probably be the only thing to really scupper his campaign if they don't get on top of it.
Yeah, the reliability might hurt.
But driver for driver and car for car right now, I think this is Max's time.
Yeah.
I think the Red Bull is the faster car. Max is finally out of his torpedo mode. He's matured. He's calculated. He's not afraid to get his elbows out against Lewis. You know,
Well,
maybe he's still going to have a mistake or two in him, and Lewis will capitalise.
Well, here's something that just dawned on me. Like, before we were talking about Ayrton Senna. Max Verstappen drove like Senna.
Max Verstappen drove like Senna since he came into the sport, yeah.
But
That's why I've taken a shine to him.
But, I mean, like, going into turn 2 yesterday, it was...
It was win it or bin it. He was
Yeah.
like, it's like Lewis is like, all right, where he put his car, it's like, he's like, Lewis, he made Lewis make the decision.
Yeah.
It's like, you turn into me and we crash, or you stay out there and I get the position, but it's on you.
Which is exactly what Senna would do.
Yeah, exactly what Senna would do.
So
And did.
Verstappen is driving like Ayrton Senna.
Yep.
So maybe Hamilton might want to go back and watch some tapes of Ayrton Senna to figure out a way to combat it.
Well, remember, Lewis's favourite driver was Ayrton Senna, so I don't think he needs to watch too many tapes.
Yeah, but he's got to figure out some way of beating him if he gets in that situation again. And he will.
Look, it's far from over.
That's true. I mean,
Far from over. I mean,
this
we're not-
is only his second race in a 23-race season.
Exactly, and we're not discounting that Mercedes can make improvements to the car in the meantime.
Well, it all
More
depends
minor
on
ones.
it all depends on the clarification that Larry Stroll and Aston Martin are asking for about high rake and low rake.
What, they're going to try and rake that cars up?
No. So, Otmar Zafnauer and Larry Stroll have gone to, I think, the FIA to see about the ruling about high rake versus low rake. That if it was an FIA decision or if it was Formula One management and Liberty Media's decision about high rake and low rake. And if it was... It's a very complicated situation, but if it's deemed that it came from Liberty Media or Formula One management, not the FIA, it looks like Larry Stroll and Otmar Zafnauer are going to protest high rate cars.
Where's it written in the regulations that you can't have a high rate car?
I don't know.
Where's it written in the regulations that you can't make your car a high rate car?
But what they're going for, because I think they know this is the only way they can fight it, is if it's deemed that it was a Liberty Media decision or Formula One management decision and not an FIA decision, then they can challenge it with the FIA, and the FIA might be able to reverse it and say, no, high rate cars are illegal.
Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds like just grasping at straws because you've got the wrong car concept.
I don't see it holding up. I mean, if it was going to be illegal, it'd be illegal now.
Yeah.
Like, can they make their cars high rake? I don't know how it works. I mean, can you development token your car so the arse is up higher?
Well, someone mentioned that to Toto Wolff, and Toto Wolff's like, well, we just can't make the car high rake overnight.
No, but you can spend development tokens over the course of the season.
Yeah,
Make it high rake if that's your trouble.
They've spent their tokens. The only team that's got tokens left is Haas.
Yeah, right.
Every other team spent their tokens.
I don't know how to make a car high rake, but you know what? Who cares? Make your car high rake next year if that's what you want. You got outsmarted. You got fucking technical
Every
loophole.
other year, Red Bull has gone the wrong way aerodynamically and has had to spend the entire year trying to get it back. Now that other teams are doing it, they're trying to find legal ways to bring themselves back into the fight.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but like Ferrari didn't do legal stuff to sit there and say, well, you know, our engine was deemed to be illegal. They couldn't find anything wrong with it, but they deemed it illegal. So we ended up with...
Well, they found something wrong with it. They just didn't say what it was. And they also didn't say what the punishment was because...
No. The FIA said we couldn't find anything wrong with it, but we know there's something wrong with it, but we couldn't find it.
So Ferrari changed it before they found it, and then that went to shit.
Well, they didn't change it. They had to... Because they couldn't find what was the cause of it, but the FIA said whatever is doing it, you can't use it.
You have illegal possession of drugs, but I can't find the drugs, but I know you have drugs, you're under arrest.
Yeah.
Right.
But Ferrari didn't sit there and say, this is bullshit, we're going to go to the FIA. They went, well, that's your decision, and we'll take it on the chin.
Fair enough.
That's why all the other teams were asking for
answer.
An answer on it. The FIA couldn't give them an answer because they didn't have an answer. They knew something was funky about the car, but they couldn't prove it.
The only people that know what the answer was is Ferrari, and they won't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Smart.
So that's why their cars were 2,000 horsepower down on everyone else last year, because that was their penance.
Yeah.
You know,
I wonder if that's going to come out in 10 years. That's going to come out in 5 years, what it was.
Yeah. That's like, I only just found out.
No. Actually, did you watch Drive to Survive?
Yeah.
They said something about the fuel flow regulator.
Yeah.
And then after they changed the rule, they said,
No, they added a second fuel flow regulator.
Yeah.
Or fuel flow sensor.
And as soon as the fuel flow sensor was swapped over in the rules and clarified in the rules, then the engine dropped.
Yeah.
So that's probably a fuel flow regulator. They were probably burning fuel faster than everyone else. Anyway,
but
Portimao. Or have you got...
Oh, I was just about to say, I didn't realise until lately what actually happened with the 2008 constructors. How McLaren were disqualified from the constructors because an ex-Ferrari guy sent his missus to a photocopy shop. That was photocopying technical data of Ferrari to give to McLaren.
Yes. And
the girl who worked at the photocopy shop happened to be a Ferrari fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's good.
Only in Formula One.
Only in Formula One, this multi-billion-dollar industry undone by a photocopier. Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant.
But, so Portimao in 2 weeks. And this season is building up to be a very interesting season. And I'm looking forward to at least 20 of the 23 races.
Yeah.
Because, frankly, I could fall asleep in Monaco and not give two sheep nuggets. Whoever starts at the start's going to finish at the... finish first in the end.
I remember Ricardo won there in like 2018 in the Red Bull, I think.
Yeah.
It's the only track on the calendar where your car can start dying with 20 laps left and you don't get overtaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Monaco procession. They call it a Grand Prix, but it's like the Monaco Street Parade.
And the fact that the cars are 2 meters wide now is just making it redundant.
It's like there was like 2 overtaking spots. That's all there was when the cars were like 1.5 meters wide.
Yeah.
And now they're 2 meters wide, and now there's like there's 2 overtaking spots, but it's like a meter less to work with, so don't hit the wall. Yeah, no, the Monaco Street Parade's not going to be fun. What else are you not looking forward to then? Not sold on Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Azerbaijan.
I don't mind. Azerbaijan can still throw up a good race every now and then.
Yeah.
Catalonia, fucking hate that track. It's so boring.
Yeah.
Um,
It becomes a little bit processional, that one.
yeah, it hasn't really thrown up a good race since Rosberg
And-
decided to take Hamilton out.
And Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, boring race too.
Yeah.
But that could be a championship deciding race by then, which will add enough intrigue.
Yeah. I'm hoping that Interlagos, if Interlagos is still going, because COVID, yep, I said the C word, COVID is running rampant over there, and they've got a president who just outward sits there and says, it's just the flu.
We'll never know. This is an F1 podcast. But anyway,
Well, if
Interlagos is Max's territory too. He loves that track.
particularly in the wet. And I think that's why it works so well at that part of the calendar, is because it's usually a wet race.
Yeah,
So you could get another Imola
it's Max's world.
from that.
Yeah. I'm interested to see if Canada doesn't make the calendar and they bring back Istanbul Park.
Yeah.
At least it'll be more grippy this year, which will probably take away from it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Last year it was just an ice rink.
All right, so 2 weeks' time,
Portimao.
Portimao.
Yeah. That podium's going to be the exact same. I think.
Maybe Bottas.
Nah, maybe Sainz. Remember Sainz led this race last year.
Maybe Perez.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Could be anything.
Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris. That's my pick. That's my podium.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
And we shall catch you in 2 weeks. And, you can hit the subscribe button if you want. But like we keep saying, we are not Watch Mojo. We're not fishing.
Yeah. If you,
Don't be afraid to drop a comment as long as you keep it nice, which means...
or don't keep it nice. No, screw it. If you hate us, let me know. Let me know.
Yeah,
Just aim your hate at JB.
Yeah, just PM him. Don't tell me, because I'll just report you to the mods.
At JB, you let me have it, man. Let me have it. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for someone to tell us that our opinions are like totally wrong.
You know what's going to happen, though, is Barry R.
Barry R.
Barry R is going to sit there and drop a comment. Like, get better, like he did on the first video.
It can't be just Barry R. though. I need random people from Britain who's armchair Formula One expert telling me that my opinion sucks and
Lewis Hamilton is the greatest driver.
trying to come at me with stats and statistics and like data, and I'm just like sitting here with my cup of tea.
Just pray that Aldas, a Formula One creator on YouTube, doesn't hear about it, because every one of his videos is, why did Ferrari so bad? Because Lewis Hamilton is so great. Why?
Logic.
Why is Formula One so boring? Because Lewis Hamilton is the greatest driver ever.
It's logical.
What happened at McLaren? Because Lewis Hamilton is the greatest driver ever. Everything with him is about Lewis Hamilton being the greatest driver ever. Screw you, Aldas.
Are you trying to get us in turf wars with other creators?
Oh, I don't really care. He doesn't pay attention to us anyway. Anyway.
Neither do a lot of people, but to those that do, hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you for joining in, and we will see you in 2 weeks after Portimao.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.